the August 25th meeting of the City Council. Let's call to order, and now we're going to have the invocation by the City Clerk, Corey Billings. And Kalisa will be doing the pledge afterwards, so if you please stand.
Please bow your heads with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to be together in the community of Atwater. We ask that you continue to watch over and guide our council members, our city manager, our city staff, our public servants who are out there protecting us each and every day. We ask that you guide us through tonight's meeting, allow them to make the decisions that are best for the city. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Roll call, please.
Ambrose?
Here.
Kale?
Here.
Raymond?
Here.
Rochester?
Here.
Nelson?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Do we have any subsequent need items?
Mayor, there are no subsequent need items.
Okay, can we get approval of the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Raymond, second by Ambrose. Raymond?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Rochester?
Yes.
Kale?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. So presentations, we're going to have our monthly report by Supervisor McDaniel. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Real quick update. We do have a new Deputy Director of Economic Development, Tamara Spade. She's been making her rounds. She was at the coffee grand opening and stuff like that. So she's been out and about. Also, we've had a full, great discussion on hunger and food insecurity. The county is already involved with the food bank, but we're looking how we can expand services. They had a great presentation on how the demand is here. During COVID, we were able to meet the demand through their services. County was very involved in it. But since then, demand is still high, and yet they're trying to figure out how to supplement those services. So we had a great discussion with them. We had investor ceremony at the board chambers. I think you know it's Atwater's own Judge Ashley Albertoni Saucer. She lives just outside of the city limits, but it was funny, after she swore in, she had some constituent services I was able to help her with. So that was very good. Also wanted to announce that I know that all our healthcare districts, Golden Valley Healthcare, as well as our Bloss Memorial Healthcare District, we're trying to, Merced County has a shortage of providers. And in doing so, we're trying to see, with UC Merced having a new medical school, how can we bring in more providers to make it more appeasing? We're going to have the brain trust through the UC Merced here as they're going to medical school. How do we keep them here? So I'm the chairman of Golden State Finance Authority. And so we're trying to implement a program and having discussions already with Golden Valley and Bloss Memorial of how we can assist them with down payment assistance to healthcare providers, whether it's PAs, whether it is doctors, or anything else. So we're having those discussions, and it looks like we're going to be able to move forward. We have the format already, Golden State Finance Authority. We have a program now that actually does for police and firemen, and we actually offer this program for Merced County employees. We use this to try to go out and get cherry pick most of the employees out of bigger counties where they can't afford their house, but yet if they come here, we can give them a 0% down payment assistance. So this is a new program that we rolled out, and I like it. The healthcare districts are ready to invest in it and look forward and try and what can we do? Because we figure once they get here, we get them to buy a house, raise a family, their roots are planted, and hopefully we can keep them here. Also, September 23rd, we'll have our final budget hearing for Merced County. Right now, the numbers are staying solid. From what I had reported on last time, it looks like it's going to be a $1.15 billion budget. As you know, 82% of that budget is subvented. And so moving forward, our numbers are good, so we're not looking at any shortfalls. And then I remind everybody, my Atwater Mobile District office hours, which I want to thank the city manager for facilitating that with us over there. We have federal folks there, we have state folks there, myself, and basically, and I like that our city manager has popped in there as well. So anybody who has a government problem, hopefully one of us are there that can solve it. Are there any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for that report. Moving along to the consent calendar.
Background information has been provided on all matters listed under the consent calendar, and these items are considered to be routine. All items under the consent calendar are normally approved by one motion. If a council member requests separate discussion on any item, that item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate action.
All right, is there any public comment regarding the consent calendar?
So looking through the consent calendar, I've noticed that there's a request from the County of Merced to waive fees for a election center from the City of Atwater for the community center. So it got me to thinking, you know, is this a nonprofit? Is this a church group? Is this anybody that needs a break in the fees that they need to, you know, pay for something like the community center? And the answer comes back no. And I'll just give you some things here. Today, I just went and paid $3,910 for unsecured property tax for a business I was evicted from in May. I'm paying for 7 months to the end of the year for property I'm not even occupying. Take it out of there. Also, as of 2023 numbers, the county is paying the Board of Supervisors $940,000 a year for pay and benefits. $940,000 as of 2023. What is it today? And leading up to the 2023 numbers, there was a pay raise every year. Unknown to people. It's done behind closed doors. No transparency. It's just done. So my request tonight, and I know it's going to fall on deaf ears, but the county has the money to pay a simple thing like fees for the community center. So it needs to be understood. But I tell you, the only reason that we're doing this is the same old excuse. That's what we've always done. Do something different.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Seeing nobody else come forward, I'm closing public comment. Are there any items on the consent calendar the council would like to remove for separate discussion and possible action?
Mayor, I'd like to have the warrants list set aside, item 1. I would also like to have item 6 set aside, and item 7, and item 8.
Anybody else? Oh, okay. All right. So we will vote on then as a consent calendar on items 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We can have a roll call on that. We need a motion. That's probably a good idea.
I move to approve as amended.
Second.
Motion by Kale, second by Raymond. Ambrose?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Kale?
Yes.
Rochester?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Item 1, warrants. What is your questions?
So I brought it up a few meetings ago. It's specifically in reference to payments using the gas tax street improvement. there is that's 28694, just for reference. There's a payment to Atwater Chiropractic, and there's also some payments for uniforms and things of that nature. And what I've brought up before is that it's very specific in how those funds can be used. And specifically, it states the research, planning, construction, improvement, maintenance, and operation of public streets and highways, including their related public facilities for non-motorized traffic. It goes on, but nowhere in there does it state that we should use those funds for those purposes. And I want to make sure that we have funds available to repair our roads. So I would just ask that we take that into consideration once again.
Yeah, we can do that.
The other issue is, which has already been answered, but I have been asked why there are all of a sudden payments to different veterinary clinics. And we received the answer from our chief, and he stated that the county had a backlog in providing us with those invoices, and that we're assured that the sick or injured animals do belong to the city of Atwater, but there was a backlog.
Invoices come directly from the veterinary clinic, so there was a backlog there. We got a bunch of invoices from the vet all at one time, and we've had that discussion about reaching out to them and telling them that they need to send them to us regularly so that we're not inundated with them at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's hard to plan a budget when they're just sending these bills all of a sudden, because I wasn't seeing those on the warrants list. I mean, except for the past 2 months. So, yeah, thank you. That was all I had.
Okay, what about item 6?
So for item 6, in reviewing the plan itself, on page 4, it states that for plan modifications, specific modifications can be made to this plan by the Deputy Director of Emergency Services, and in parentheses it says Assistant City Manager, without the signature of the City Council. We don't have an Assistant City Manager. And then on page 40, it references the fire chief reporting to the city manager for day-to-day management of emergency services program, and the fire chief is delegated as the authority to serve as the Deputy Director of Emergency Services. So I'm assuming that our fire chief is the Deputy Director of Emergency Services, but it's a big deal to have that stated as a plan modification without City Council being the Assistant City Manager when we don't have an Assistant City Manager. So I just think that needs clarification.
Are you referring to the plan itself or the annex?
The plan.
Thank you.
Page 4 and then page 40.
Mayor, if I may, we need to clean that up in the plan before we send it off to the county, but with, at the pleasure of the council, we can make those edits upon approval here and then just send it. But the other thing is, it references our municipal code section 2.44. That also needs to be updated because it's 2003 and it talks about some positions that don't exist anymore. So we'll bring that back to the council as well at a future date.
Okay. And the other, sorry.
Say, but can they approve the plan as the plan document with the changes that, if they accept the changes that Councilmember Rochester brought up?
Yes.
And then we can come back with the amendments to the ordinance, but we can still, since those changes are pretty discrete, the motion just can include those changes.
Correct.
Okay, so make sure.
The other question I have is for our chief of police. In the plan, I read that you are the primary, our police agency is the primary for notification of an emergency that's occurring. So I just would like to know, what would be the plan in notifying the residents? How would the police department notify the residents?
We would use our social media, obviously, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'll have to check into that. There are notification systems. I don't know that we subscribe to one, but there are notification systems where we can send a mass notification out. So I'll check on that and make sure that we do subscribe to one of those.
Yeah, thank you, because this plan has raised a lot of questions in my mind, and, you know, we think that we're well prepared, but when, you know, when disaster hits, and we just had the huge flood, I just want to make sure that residents are aware of, you know, how they would be informed, and also we just had an incident over by Veterans Park with a fire, and I received phone calls from residents over there, and so it's really a scary situation. So I just want to make sure we're as well prepared as we can be.
Okay, any other questions on that one? No, okay. Item 7.
So with Mr. Price's concern related to the county, I know that we have a plan in place, and there are fee waivers that are specified, and I'm wondering if government agencies is listed there. I do recall there being a list, and it's stating nonprofits would be considered for a reduction in the fees for using our facilities, and I'm not sure if government agencies is listed, but it's very specific.
I can look at our recreation policies for that, for the community center, and I'll turn to anybody else that happens to know off the top of their head. Thank you, Corey.
The former recreation director would like to comment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Government agencies are quasi-interest in there already. This is something that started in 2020 when we went from the 1 day of voting up to the entire week of voting. The cost associated was substantial. It was not just a few $1,000s to rent the center, because if you went by the hour or by the day, the costs associated were substantial. So at that point in time, the requests started coming in, and annually since that point in time, since 2020, we have received the same request each year for the voting center to be held at the community center. It is the only place in Atwater now for voting. They have, you know, it used to be when we all probably started voting, there were multiple places, but they've combined them down all into one location, and they allow 5 days for voting. So this allows the county to provide those services fully staffed, so that if you have a question when you go to vote, you can have them answered right there. So that's the background history. But yes, they kind of have been grandfathered in, and it is written that specific county agency, as long as they submit the request.
And if I may, Corey, sorry, thank you, but they do it a full 11 days, and they actually pay after hours. They're only getting the fee waiver as long as city council allows when staff is already here, and they pay after the hours when staff is no longer here. So the fee waiver is for the time when staff is here at the community center, and when the staff has to stay when they're not actually at hours, 8 to 5, then they will be paying for a facility attendant to be at the community center. So just to note that as well. So they do get billed for that.
And I'm sorry, me personally, I don't want to hinder anybody from not voting. And if we don't charge for this, I'm fine, so that everybody has the opportunity to vote like they should.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I'll just say that I would agree. I would never want to prohibit a person from being able to vote. I just think it's something that maybe we might consider putting into a plan somewhere, so that we don't need to do this.
Well, we could update the municipal code,
Right.
along with many other things that need to be updated there.
And if I may again, I'm sorry, this was something that came up emergent, and our registrar of voters reached out and he asked if he could be here this evening. We told him that it wasn't necessary because it was emergent. They just reached out on Thursday, and because of the special election that's coming up, that's why this came out emergent. It literally was put on the agenda on Thursday. So we told him that he didn't need to be here, so he did want to come this evening, so just so we know that as well.
Thank you for the clarification. Okay, so we're on to item 8.
So for item 8, I'll just say that when the committees were being formed in December for the year, I received a phone call from the mayor asking if which clubs or organizations or committees I would like to be a part of, and I did not receive a phone call for this particular item in forming the Rules Committee. And that's all, just a statement.
Alrighty. So, I guess we can vote on these
Yeah,
together.
you can do one omnibus motion for all the items. You may want to do 1, 7, and 8, because I think there's going to be an amendment to number 6. So that may be the cleanest. Or you could do one motion for all of 1, 6, 7, and 8, just with the amendments noted for 6, and that, you can do it either way.
Yeah, we'll do it that way. Okay, so we're voting on items 1, 6, 7, and 8 with the, yeah, if there's a motion now.
I'll move to approve 1, 6, 7, and 8 with the amendments for 6.
It's noted by Councilmember Rochester?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, and that's clear to you, City Manager? Okay.
Second.
Motion by Kale, second by Raymond. Ambrose,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Kale,
Yes.
Rochester,
No.
Nelson,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right. Now we're on to reports and presentations from staff. Item 9, accepting the Fruitland Avenue reconstruction Phase 3 as complete. City Manager, give your report, please.
Yes, thank you. So this is a long project that has cost many millions of dollars for the city. And this past spring, we had several meetings to go over some changes to the Fruitland project during construction, actually. And we were able to make those changes. And looking at the road now, it's in a lot better shape than it was a year ago. And going forward, based on a motion that was made already in the past, the staff will be reviewing the traffic to see if stop signs are warranted going into the future. And we will bring that back no later than the end of this year, but probably in the next couple months. Be working with our traffic engineer on that. And I'd also like to say that once this notice of completion is done, then the city will be going back and making a few corrections related to drainage that have already been contemplated. So that's still in the works. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, does council have any questions for Chris? Seeing no questions, okay. Is there any public comment on this item? If so, please come forward. Seeing nobody come forward, I'm going to close public comment. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
How about a
Second.
Motion by Ambrose, second by Kale. Rochester,
Yes.
Kale,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Nelson,
yes.
motion passes.
All right, now we're on to comments from the public.
At this time, any person may comment on any item which is not on the agenda. You may state your name and address for the record, however, it is not required. Action will not be taken on an item that is not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and or placed on a future agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes.
Under the Brown Act, members of the public must address the city council as the legislative body of the city. not other members of the public or staff. I'm now opening public comment. No speaker cards?
Yes, I have 4 speaker cards, Mayor.
Good. Okay.
The first one is for Terry Gunter.
Hello, everybody, Mayor, council members. I have an opinion. Council has 4 members, only 1 is a woman. She's the one who pushed to update the Rules Committee, yet she was excluded, even as she's always prepared and always focused on accountability. When taxpayers ask for accountability from VVH, she's the only council member who voted to protect us. I will mention that Mayor Nelson did vote for the resolution as presented. The 3 councilmen voted it down, including Councilman Raymond, who allegedly has a financial relationship with Chris Vieira, owner of VVH. Why did he not recuse himself? Instead, he voted against accountability. And let's not forget, the same 3 council members were on the council when VVH plans were approved in the first place. They helped create this mess and then refused to hold VVH accountable for it. VVH is the same company that tried to put 3 roundabouts between Winton Way and Schaefer Road on Fruitland Avenue, a stretch of road that is less than a mile long. With Councilwoman Rochester's help, taxpayers were heard. Be it known that it is Mr. Kale's district. VVH also designed an intersection so bad it had to be demolished and redone, and it's still a liability. Mailboxes placed by VVH necessitated demo and repouring of sidewalks. Power poles moved and stuck in the middle of sidewalks with additional concrete needed just to make them ADA compliant. More concrete poured just to fix their own mistakes. That's wasted money and unsafe streets. That brings me to tonight. I will be formally requesting all engineering documents, traffic studies, field surveys, directives, and internal communications that determined that the centerline markings at the 1500 block of Fruitland Avenue should be designated as a 2-way passing zone with broken yellow lines. I'm going to say this out loud. Something nefarious is going on here. Mr. Kale himself opposed removing the stop signs because he thinks Fruitland Avenue is dangerous. Yet now, broken yellow lines have been placed in a residential area with active cross-traffic and pedestrian activity. And for the record, the broken yellow lines are in front of the Reed's home. Mr. Reed is a former VVH employee. Nowhere else on Fruitland Avenue is there a passing zone. Nowhere between Schaefer Road and Orchard Park Avenue. The decision to allow passing here raises serious safety questions, concerns, and the public deserves to know why. Why did Mr. Raymond not recuse himself? Why did the other council members not vote for accountability? And why was an inherently dangerous passing zone added to Fruitland Avenue?
All right, thank you.
The next one is for Ron Phillips.
I don't know if y'all got the photos, but I have digital copies of these I can send to anyone. If you don't have them, I'm not even going to look at them. But anyway, we had a fire in the field behind the Bella Drive again last week. And I was here, 3 or 4 months ago, asking that that field be disked to create a fire break. It was disked. There was a fire break. However, as I'll provide you with photos, I can leave these here, and I can email copies to anyone who wants them. You see the fire line here, right? These are our homes right here on the Bella. And again, apologize you don't have your copies, but I'll send them to you. This is a fire right here. You see this clear area? That's where they disked the field. The fire break worked. The problem is whoever did the fire break, he decided to do a U-turn right behind my house. So all this area right here, that's what burned. It burned up to my neighbor's fence. Caught the fence on fire. The next morning, we're talking to the firefighters who were on site the night before. They said when they rolled up, they thought they were going to lose a house. It got that close. Now, here's my question to you. I got several photos of this, right? This is my fence. I'm out there with my 5/8-inch garden hose. And that field, it literally got up to 3 to 5 feet from my fence before I could stop it. Right, guys? It's legit. So I did a little research. I'm not going to read all this. Y'all know it, right? And again, I'm not here to place blame on anybody. I don't know if it's the city of Atwater or if it's a property owner, Puro. I don't know who's responsible. But look, Municipal Code Title 8 Public Safety, 828-010, 828-020, 828-070, 832-030. Okay, this is not really super definitive, what I'm reading, but there's enough here. Can we not create a scope of service or a scope of work that we hand to the contractor and say, you know, I'm kind of familiar with contracts, work with corrections, right? These are the things you got to do or you don't get paid. It's like we got it all right here, but I guarantee you the guy who did this field, and I watched him, either he wasn't aware of any of this or he didn't have to care. But I bet he got paid. And my neighbor's house damn near got burned down. I apologize for my language. That was a scary night. And it seems like this photo here, you see the problem? Like, that's disking a field. Half of it wasn't even disked. Right?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that to our attention. It's been that way for a long, long time. But,
Why isn't it fixed?
but they don't, but see those guys, those contractors, the property owner hires them. They don't come to the city for the
Is he not
permit.
held accountable to this?
Well, we need to look into that.
Right?
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
I apologize for running late, guys. That was way too close, man.
Yeah,
Way too close.
not a problem.
Thank you for your time.
Mayor, if I may, sir, if you're willing to share that, we have our battalion chief here.
I have the pictures.
Oh, you have them? Okay, never mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I had the digital copies, which give you far more detail. I mean, it literally shows the disc lines in the field and where the fire went up to where he disc, you know, and it stopped. So the fire break worked. You got to finish the job,
Right.
right? I mean, it's like you got the solution and the problem all in one photo. All right, Joel? But again, I have the digital copies if anybody wants it.
All right,
Thank
yeah.
you for
Send them.
your time. I apologize for running late.
No problem, Ron.
Next, we have Kelly Phillips.
Kelly Phillips, 2093 Novella Drive. I am here to ask, and it's in regards to the fire, which was an extremely scary night. And let me add, that was the third fire. The first fire was May 3rd of 2024 on the opposite end of the field from homeless people setting the fire. That picture is also included in your package. The second fire, because it wasn't behind our house, I don't have a picture of it. I'm hoping there's a call log because the fire department definitely came out approximately the end of June of this year. And now we have August 19th, where it was really, 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 really scary. The field on the opposite side of the stop sign, closest to the canal, that is completely not untouched. All the way to the vegetation is always all the way to the neighbor's fence. The vegetation is still on our fence, so we're still not satisfied because there's still some fuel there for a fire. So we are asking that the city do whatever you need to do to get in contact with the property manager. And this is our second time coming out and bringing this to your attention about the lack of the property being disked. It wasn't disked at all in 2023, half disked in 2024, half disked in 25. So there's obviously a breakdown in the communication. And I think the biggest thing we would like to do is to be put on the agenda so we can actually deep dive and have a discussion about this. This is pretty scary. There are a number of things that could have gone wrong, and we could be having a completely different conversation. We were very close to losing our home. We have a 7-foot fence. The flames were over the fence. It was very scary. So again, I'm asking that we, be put on the agenda so that we can deep dive and have a thorough conversation and determine what needs to be done so that this doesn't happen ever again. Thank you.
All right, thank you. City manager's aware of that. He'll be working with staff to work on that. Correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Thanks.
Next is Debbie Banda.
I live at 2097 Nabella Drive, and it was my house that took the most of the fire. It was a very scary night for us. I almost lost my whole fence. It's charred, and I did call the owner of that property, and all he said was, "You expect me to pay for it?" And so I took that offensively. He was supposed to cut the grass down like he said, and he was supposed to take the tree out because that shaded tree is where the homeless live under. And he didn't do any of that. He didn't cut the grass behind my house. So me and my husband were asleep when the fire started. You know, we could have went down with our house. I just want something to be done about it, please. Thank you.
All righty, thank you.
That was the last speaker card.
Oh, okay, great. All righty, anybody else want to speak?
Rudy Ibarra, 585 Village Circle Drive. I would like to thank the city manager, Chris Holmes, for providing me the proper channels to hold Mr. Raymond accountable. I have filed the proper documents with the FPPC. Since October 2020, Mr. Raymond has employed the owner of EVH Engineering, Chris Vieira, a City of Atwater subcontracting engineer firm. According to the State of California Department of Real Estate, Mr. Vieira has been on Mr. Raymond's payroll as a salesperson for Mr. Raymond's brokerage, American Realty. So basically that means for almost 5 years, every time Mr. Raymond voted on a project that VVH Engineering was involved in, or every check that Mr. Raymond voted to approve that had to do with VVH, his vote had bias. As you can see this evening, Mr. Raymond chose to continue to vote on things like the warrant list, with no regards to his major conflict of interest he has established with VVH Engineering. How long will this continue to happen? Tonight, VVH Engineering has submitted a $61,659.53 in invoices. When are people going to be held accountable for their actions? Why is it that things just get brushed under the table and under the rug? When is the city attorney going to do his job and guide this council and hold Mr. Raymond accountable for his actions? Why is it that the city just digs their heels in and never steps up and admits they were wrong? I think it's time for someone to start setting an example and fixing the wrongs and making them right. Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
Larry Gunner, Chardonnay Way, just a couple of different things. To the police and firemen, would you do your disaster alert you was talking about earlier? Don't rely only on your social media. That is, a lot of people don't use social media. I get notifications from the city a week after the events. So they come up with something, a big siren or something to come up, let the whole town know, some other way, go around the streets, broadcast if this ever happens. So that's on that point. Second, I'd like to challenge the council to go to Fruitland, Chablis, all the way up to Chardonnay. 2 to 3 people walk the sidewalks on both sides and see if you enjoy the walk, because you're going to be dodging all the power poles, mailboxes. You cannot enjoy a walk walking up and down the sidewalks on Fruit. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Larry.
$180,500 was paid for a public safety plan. The first payment was made in May of 2024. That money was taken from Measure B. So we're about 15 months, give or take, and we still haven't seen the plan. This council should be kind of concerned with that much money. It should be asking the questions, where's the plan? When are we going to see the plan? When are you guys going to see the plan? We deserve that. It was our money that you guys took. Second of all, these people with the fire here, you should tell them that there's a weed abatement program to the fire department. You guys pay a contract for the fire department to do weed abatement. They're not going to be held responsible or accountable to do fire abatement. Then you guys should take this contract away from the Cal Fire. Okay, if they're not going to do their jobs, because I called the guy who's in charge of this and told me, well, we're not going to hold them accountable this year. We're not going to call them back to do the job that they're supposed to do. We're just going to wait till next year and we'll worry about it then. Okay, if you guys are going to pay this contract, make sure it's done, and the fire department should be held accountable to give you some kind of account of what they have done or what they're not going to do, basically what they're not going to do. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, seeing nobody else come forward, I'm going to close public comment. Going to city council member reports. We'll start with Mr. Kale.
I have nothing today.
Okay, Danny?
I'm going to try to keep it short. It was nice seeing a SRO at my son's school this morning. He was helping with the crosswalk, being nice to everyone. Not sure if he recognized me, which I hope he didn't though, but he made sure to say hello, not only to me, but all the other parents walking by. So definitely thank you. Give my thanks for that. City manager, if you can look in, if you could look into it and see if the county pays for any other voting location within the county, and bring that to us prior to the 2026 elections. This way, the council as a whole can determine if fees are needed. And my last comment, January 22nd, 2024, there was an agenda item regarding the Fruitland project, and there was 2 council members who voted no. I was one of them. That's it.
All righty. Brian?
Mayor, I have nothing.
Lisa?
I want to thank staff for repairing the gate that's at the end of Kelly Court where the storm drain basin is. I went for a walk this weekend and saw that that was repaired, so I was glad to see that. I was able to attend the POW fundraiser dinner or gathering on August 16th. It was really nice. I want to thank the staff who attended. And I'd specifically like to thank Joe and Claudia Hoffer for opening their home for this very important project. I will say that it has been brought to my attention that at the youth center in Veterans Park, that there have been some significant issues with the HVAC system. The air conditioning is not working. And also that there's no Wi-Fi access or internet in that building. And so I know that it's POW's plan to operate out of that building. So I have significant concerns about how that program's gonna operate when there's no air conditioning and there's no internet. One of the programs that they wanted to get started was the leadership program. So I would ask that staff look into making those repairs in a timely manner. I was able to attend the Old Town Atwater Vendors and Crafters Market last Thursday. It was very well attended. It was super hot, but I think everyone had a good time. It was very nice to see everyone in the community out and about. And I want to thank everyone who braved the heat to come out and do that. If you are interested in being a vendor, you can email Old Town Atwater, and they have their flyer on their website and social media, so you would be able to get the information there. I would like to inform the residents who reside in the Manzanita area that I have formally requested a traffic study at Manzanita and Schaefer because of the numerous traffic accidents that are or have occurred there. We just had another pedestrian that was hit, I believe 2 weeks ago or a week ago at Schaefer and Manzanita. So I have asked for a formal traffic study. And in regard to the fire, just that very day, I received a phone call from a concerned citizen about high weeds on a fence line for a vacant property. So it was very timely and unfortunate that it happened, but it has opened my eyes to looking around at all of the various vacant properties that we have in Atwater in the city. And I have raised some awareness to our code enforcement, but because of some the piling up of weeds and leaves and signs, all wood, things that would ignite a fire very quickly. So I would ask that we take a hard look at what's going on in these vacant properties and ensure that we are holding these homeowners accountable, specifically this particular landowner. I don't know if there's cost recovery that's available to us for our fire department that was called out. I saw several officers who are out there. So it would seem that there should be some potential cost recovery available to the city for that property owner not properly abating the weeds. And then the last thing I have is that today was the first day at Merced College. It was great to see all of the students back on campus. I'm sure it added to the traffic issues around town, but it's very nice to see the students back in school, and just remember that your education is something that could never be taken away from you. So thanks.
All right, thank you. I was also at the PAL fundraiser, relaunch party, I guess. And as I pointed out then, I'll repeat it now, in the 3 years that I've had the honor of sitting in the seat, I've been pushing for the PAL program to be relaunched. And now that we have some enlightened administration here, with the city manager and the police chief, it's actually coming to fruition. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank Joe Hoffer and Claudia too for putting that all together. It's going to be a real, our kids need it. Our community needs it. So I'm very glad that that's happening. With that, I'm done. City manager.
Just a couple things. I'm going to have a city manager meetup along with our public works director, Justin Vinson, at Mango Crazy. It's located at 2830 Schaefer Road. It'll be Wednesday, August 27th at 5 p.m. So everyone's welcome to join us there. Senior Information Day will be Tuesday, September 16th. There will be approximately 20 vendors. It's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Atwater Community Center. For the farmers market, it's already been stated, but I just wanted to thank our Public Works Department for keeping the park and the surrounding area looking great for all the visitors. And lastly, we've had a lot of construction in the right-of-ways throughout the city, and some of these projects are managed by the city and others are private contractors. A lot of different companies doing work. And the traffic impacts and the construction updates can be found on the homepage of the city's website at the top of the page. So you can get more information there. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, I'm going to adjourn the meeting.